I'm Nathan Carter. I grew up in the suburbs of Savannah, Georgia, where oak trees draped with moss shaded our old wooden house. To anyone passing by, we looked like the perfect family. Backyard barbecues, a porch swing creaking in the breeze, all of us together. But behind that door, I learned early that love can come with strings, and fairness is just a pipe dream. Picture me at 31, standing in a seaside restaurant in Atlanta, lights twinkling, glasses clinking. I dropped $5,000 on this party. Fried fish, string lights, a playlist I spent weeks curating to celebrate my promotion to lead engineer at a big construction firm. I was pumped to share the moment with the people I cared about. But then my dad, David, stood up, raised his glass, and boomed. "Folks, we're here to toast my daughter Sophie's acceptance into a top music academy." The room erupted in cheers. My smile froze. This was my night, my money, my moment. They'd turned it into a stage for my little sister again. So, was I wrong to grab the mic and call them out, knowing it'd tear us apart? Let's go back to the start to figure out. I was the first kid David and Karen Carter brought into the world. Dad ran a small construction business, obsessed with perfection. Every blueprint had to be flawless, every job on schedule. Mom worked part-time as a bookkeeper, always talking about unlocking potential. They had big plans for me, their test-run kid for every parenting trick. By 4, I was in advanced math classes and basketball camp. My days packed to make me exceptional. But when I messed up a multiplication table or missed a layup, their disappointment was obvious. "Nathan, you've got to step it up," Mom would say, her voice sharp. Dad would just frown, like I'd botched his latest project. Once, I brought home a test with an 88, hoping for a pat on the back. Mom glanced at it. "Why not a 90? Focus, Nathan." Dad nodded, eyes glued to his work reports. When I was 6, Sophie showed up, and the vibe in our house shifted. Mom started buying books on nurturing creativity, and Dad poured his energy into Sophie's world. By 3, she was plinking away on a piano, her music filling the house, a place I'd learned to move through quietly. Sophie got private lessons, a room full of instruments, even custom stage outfits by 8. Me? I got a hand-me-down basketball jersey and a lecture on responsibility. At 10, I built a model house for a school science fair and took first place. I ran home, clutching my medal, but Mom was busy hemming Sophie's recital dress. "That's nice, Nathan," she said, not looking up. "Her teacher says Sophie's got rare talent." Dad didn't lift his eyes from his ledger. I tucked the medal away, getting used to being invisible. High school was where I started carving my own path. I fell in love with engineering, building bridges, houses, things that last. I'd stay late in the lab, sketching steel frameworks that could hold up under pressure. Teachers said I had a knack for it, but at home, Sophie was a star. Her piano recitals ate up our weekends. Her trophies crowded the kitchen shelf. At 14, I entered a regional bridge design contest, spending weeks calculating loads. I placed 3rd, brought the medal home, thinking they'd finally notice. But that night, Mom was picking songs for Sophie's next show, and Dad said, "Sophie's performing at the Civic Center tomorrow. You're coming, right?" I nodded, swallowing the sting. The birthday thing hit me hardest. When I was 15, my parents threw Sophie, 11 at the time, a massive party at a fancy restaurant, inviting her whole piano class and friends. 3-tier cake, chandeliers, a live band, and they gave her a shiny new smartphone, the kind I'd been dreaming of but never got. I overheard Mom bragging to neighbors that Sophie's party was our family's pride and joy. My 16th birthday, a big deal in America, came a few weeks later. I hoped for something, even just a small gift. Instead, Mom took me to a burger joint, no presents, no cake. "Sophie needs support to grow her talent," she said. "You're a big guy now, you get it." I saw Sophie's friends posting party pics online, all smiles, while my birthday slipped by like it didn't exist. Worse, I heard Mom tell a neighbor my birthday. Didn't need a big fuss. I stared out the car window, fighting tears. Senior year brought another blow. I got into Georgia Tech for engineering with a half-ride scholarship. I was over the moon until I overheard Mom and Dad in the kitchen. Sophie's music academy costs a fortune. Mom said, we'll need the college fund. Dad grunted. Nathan's smart. He'll figure out. Figure it out? That fund was for both of us. Or so they'd said. I confronted them, voice shaking. The college fund's mine too. Why is it all for Sophie? Mom's face tightened. Her talent's 1 in a million, Nathan. You can take loans or start at community college. Dad stared at the floor. I felt erased. My grandparents, Martha and George, stepped in, furious. You don't pick one kid over the other. Martha snapped. They cover my tuition. No loans, no debt. You're enough as you are, George told me. They were my lifeline when my parents let me drift. Favoritism doesn't just sting. It breaks trust. My parents thought they were betting on Sophie, but they told me I wasn't worth it. Who hasn't fought to be seen by their family? How do you forgive when they shatter something that fundamental? College was my reset. Georgia Tech's campus. Concrete buildings, green lawns. Felt like a place I could breathe. I dove into engineering, drafting bridges and skyscrapers that balanced strength and purpose. Professors called me meticulous. Classmates leaned on me for calculations. I wasn't just Nathan, the overshadowed brother. I was Nathan Carter, future engineer. I worked summers on construction sites, learning to measure, operate machinery. One night, I stayed up till 1 a.m. fixing a suspension bridge design. The contractor slapped my shoulder. Kid, you've got it. It was the first time I felt truly seen. At 28, I led a school construction project that won a local award. I called my grandparents, choking up, I did it. Martha laughed. You always could. They just didn't notice. After graduation, I landed a job at an Atlanta construction firm, starting as a junior engineer. I loved it. Every late night checking blueprints, every dusty morning on site, every moment a building rose. By 30, I was lead engineer, heading a bridge project that got national press. I remember the ribbon cutting, standing in the crowd, talking about safety specs. A reporter asked, "What drives you?" I grinned. Building things that last, for everyone. My parents sent a congrats text. Below it, a clip of Sophie practicing piano. I wasn't hurt anymore. I'd learned to move on without them. Back to that restaurant in Atlanta. I'd planned my promotion party for weeks, dreaming of a night where I'd finally feel seen. I asked Mom to handle logistics, guest list, food, since she loved organizing. Send the money, I said, wiring $5,000. I trusted her, hoping this time might be different. I was wrong. When Dad announced Sophie's Music Academy win, it wasn't just a hijack. It was rewriting my story. Sophie stood there, glowing in a red dress, soaking up applause. I looked at Mom. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Dad raised his glass higher. The room spun, but I held it together. I stepped to the mic, heart pounding, voice steady. Hey, folks, I need to clear something up. The chatter stopped. This night was meant to celebrate my promotion to lead engineer. I paid for everything, the food, the lights, the music. Nobody told me it'd be someone else's spotlight. Whisper spread. Sophie's smile faltered. Mom tried to cut in, Nathan, don't make a scene. But I kept going. I've spent my life being pushed aside, told I'm not enough. Tonight, I'm done. I handed the mic back, grabbed my jacket, and walked out. My grandparents caught me in the parking lot. You spoke your truth, Martha said, hugging me tight. That's what counts. Some might call me selfish, stealing Sophie's moment out of jealousy. But I see it as breaking a lifetime of being sidelined. When does silence become enabling? I chose myself, but at what cost? The fallout hit fast. Sophie's boyfriend, Liam, pulled her aside later, upset. You said this was a family party, he said. Not Nathan's thing. He proposed to her weeks earlier, planning to share the news that night. The lie unraveled him. I can't build a life on deceit, he told her and left. Their engagement ended days later. My parents called the next morning, livid. You humiliated Sophie. Dad roared. You're no son of mine if you keep this up. Mom chimed in. You're always so dramatic. I didn't argue. I hung up, blocked their numbers. That was a year ago. I haven't heard from them since. Sophie's not evil. She's just a product of the same messed up system, on the favorite side. But her silence at the party, letting my moment get stolen, makes her part of it. Liam walking out shows favoritism doesn't just hurt the one left behind. It poisons everyone. One lie can ripple through a whole family. Now I'm 32, leading a team building bridges and homes in Atlanta. It's not just a job. It's how I create something lasting for people. My grandparents are my home, hosting weekly dinners where we laugh over old stories and new dreams. They rewrote their will, leaving everything, house, savings, land, to me. Not because you need it, George said, but because you've earned it, living true to yourself. I got choked up, not for the money, but for their love. Sophie? Word is she's teaching piano at a local studio, struggling to book gigs after her academy dreams fizzled. Part of me feels for her. She was shaped by our parents' hype, not her fault. I texted her once, months after the party. She wrote back, "You ruined everything, Nathan. Don't act like you care." I didn't reply. Some bridges are meant to burn. This isn't just about a stolen party. It's about what happens when you stop begging for a seat at a table that's never yours. Cutting ties was my rebellion. But was it justice or revenge? I used to think family was blood, forever. Now I know families are people who stay, like my grandparents, who see your worth when you can't. Self-respect isn't just standing up to unfairness. It's loving yourself enough to walk away from places that don't value you. Forgiving doesn't mean taking more hurt. It's letting go so you can live true to who you are. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below, and let's dive into more raw, real stories on DramaTides. Share your own AITA moment. We're all ears.